Hey guys, your friendly neighborhood natty here. My name is Matthew, and today's video is going to be an unboxing of the Dan Wesson Model 15-2 pistol pack. So this latest acquisition is actually the vintage model of the Dan Wesson Model 15. I know today you can still get kind of the Dan Wesson Model 715, which is the stainless version, and that's because they were bought out, I think, by CZ. You can still get that today, but this one is actually the old model, the blue model. And I've been looking for this for quite a while, at least 2 to 3 years. But every time the price was always kind of way past that I was comfortable with paying. At the time, I kind of decided about $2,600 was the most that I would pay for, the pistol pack of the 15-2, and everybody always went, pretty much $3,000 and up. And I saw it again at a gun show here in South Dakota. Actually, my FFL was there too. But a fella had it. He had exactly what I wanted. It was the Dan Wesson 15-2 heavy barrel ventilated, and he wanted $3,000 for it. So I was saying, that's still too much. And honestly, it seems everything at the gun show is overpriced in my opinion. So I asked for $2,600, and he said no, and I was like, okay, that's fine. So of course I'm out of luck, right? But I'm on Gunbroker, and I see the Dan Wesson 15-2. It's this boy right here, and at the time they were going for, I think, maybe like $1,500, which is surprisingly low. And I looked at the pictures and I asked for more pictures, and it looked pretty good. It looked pretty darn good the whole way out. And I guess everybody was sleeping. Thank you for that. And I was able to get it for about $1,800. So, moment of truth here. Here you guys go. This is what it all came with. This is the Dan Wesson 15-2 pistol pack. It's got everything: the 2, 4, 6, 8-inch barrel, heavy ventilated. It's got an extra grip here, this guy right here, and then I don't really know what this is. I think it's something that kind of helps stands the gun, because if you look in here, the grip frame of the Dan Wesson, it's kind of like I don't know if I'm thinking it correctly. Well, it kind of reminds me of a Ruger, but not really. So usually on a Smith and a Colt, they got the whole grip frame, kind of cut out type of thing. But Dan Wesson is like, there is no grip frame. I think it's like a Ruger. And so that, the tail part kind of just sits in there. So I think it's just a stand for the gun. And then here's the gun itself, of course. This is the Dan Wesson 15-2. Very good condition, as you can see, for $1,800. Really not that bad. The way that it opens and closes is not like a Smith, Colt, or a Ruger. There's the latches right here in the front of the cylinder, and you just push that down, and then you push the cylinder out. And there goes a snap cap. And that's pretty much how you unload the gun and load the gun. Now, the Dan Wesson 15-2, they're kind of known for being able to change out the barrels. So you got the 8-inch barrel here, and then of course we have the 6-inch barrel right here, which comes with it's the barrel, and then I guess what I would say, the barrel shroud, probably the only correct term, correct use of that term. And then of course you get the 4-inch barrel shroud with the barrel, and then we have the 2-inch barrel with the barrel shroud as well. So that's pretty neat, very cool. It came with the tools all here in this guy. You get a couple of sights. Oh, I think that's everything there. So the red sights, which is probably what you're all familiar with, all right here. Well, there you go. And then on the gun, it seems like the original owner put the yellow, kind of like the yellow sight on the 4-inch barrel, and it's on the 8-inch barrel as well. And then there's also a white sight that he seemed to put on the 2-inch barrel, and that's on the 6-inch barrel as well. So a lot of different sights. I'm gonna kind of leave the yellow and white just because I think when it comes to vision, usually with colors, I think the human eye is good with green and yellow. I think those are the two where the human eye can kind of see that. I know you probably think it's red because, well, the stoplight is red, and that's true for you know, I guess, yes, you do notice it, but it seems like when it comes to like vision or you know, focusing on something, it seems that yellow and green is better. Now there is no green sight here, but I think you can get it on, I think I've seen it on ewkarms.com. So they sell a lot of parts for the Dan Wesson. I'm not sure if CZ itself sells some of those parts because CZ acquired Dan Wesson. And like I said, they do make this gun. It's just not blued like this. I think it's in a more of a stainless configuration. And I have seen the barrels on the CZ website too. It's pretty much like, it'll be like this, so that kind of ventilated heavy, but then they also have it ventilated kind of like shaved, so not heavy, so they'll kind of like shave this bottom part of it here a little bit less to take off a little more weight, I guess, is the point of that. And then here's the tolerance gauge as well. So this is used so that when you screw the barrel back into the gun, that it has the correct tolerance. If it's too much, then the cylinder won't rotate. If it's not enough, accuracy suffers. So actually, let me show you that. Well, let's go through a little bit of the tools here. So this is an extra grip screw, I believe. So you get an extra one of those. And then this is a tool. I think this one unscrews the grip. Does it? Yeah, it does. Okay, yes, it does. All right, and then, okay, so here's some Allen wrenches here. These are probably to change out the sights. Oh yeah, that's at the front of the gun. And then what else do we have? So these guys, I think this is an extra one. This is an extra on the end cap on the front of the gun. So you'll see that there's an extra end cap, and this is the tool that takes it out. So let me just explain to, for YouTube. YouTube has had a little bit of a, I don't know, extreme reaction to firearm content, and they, you know, were calling things modifications when they really weren't modifications. They were calling things homemade silencers, which only exists in Hollywood, so not reality. And so when I change this barrel, I would like to tell YouTube, this is a disassembly of the firearm, okay? And a disassembly, yeah, sure, people can modify it in that action, but the disassembly itself is just as important to clean the gun. If cops and militaries didn't clean their guns, it wouldn't work, which means they couldn't save lives. And so the most of us that are not rich can't have a cop or a military person, you know, on call 5 minutes. That means we have to disassemble the gun and clean it ourselves. So please do not misunderstand this action as a modification. This is disassembling the gun to clean it and then reassembling the gun. Please don't strike me, YouTube. Oh my goodness. So hopefully they understand. So how you want to disassemble the Dan Wesson 15-2. First, you want this guy. So this is the guy, and there's probably a better one, I think, on, hold on. I think there's a better one on, oh my gosh, I'm left-handed, so I gotta place it this way. There's a better one of these on EWK Arms website. I think the material of this might scratch kind of like the barrel and stuff, but given that you can buy a new barrel and a barrel shroud, I mean, I'm not too concerned about it. But, you know, different strokes for different folks. So basically you'll see kind of like two indentations on this guy, and they're going to line up on these indents on the Dan Wesson. So I'll line them up here for you, right there. And then actually this tool is going to help you. So after you place the disassembly tool for the end cap, you're going to put this guy on it, and then you're going to rotate. Hold on, I think I can do it by hand. Oh, okay. If it's not too tight, you can do it by hand, but if it's too tight, then use this boy. So basically, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, we're going left, and you can see that it's taking out that end cap right there. So I can do it by hand now, and that is all gone. And you do get an extra one because it looks just like this. So, okay, that's nice. Now with that off, you can actually take the, let me show you here. You can take the whole barrel off the gun. Okay, and you know, that's beautiful. Now at this point you have to unscrew the barrel. So lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, so we're gonna go left, and you just unscrew it here from the threads. And if you get confused about which end goes into the threads, hold on, let me get this out. Let me get this boy out. Come on now. Come on, boy. Woo! There he goes. So basically the barrel part, you'll see, well, there's a lot more threads on this end. So you'll kind of know that that's the one that gets screwed in. And then this thread is really for that end cap that screws in to keep it in place. And that's what the gun looks like without the barrel. So, you know, that's to help clean, everything like that, have them all set up, good to go, you know. So, YouTube, we're just doing the same thing in reverse. Obviously with these stock parts, you can put in the 6-inch barrel, you can put in the 4-inch barrel, you can put in the 2-inch barrel. But I don't want YouTube to have a heart attack, so let's just put the 8-inch barrel back in place. So we reverse exactly what we did. So spot with the most threads gets threaded into the gun. So we're going to start that here. Okay. And here's an important part. Okay. This guy is that tolerance gauge. Remember that if you screw too far in to the frame, the cylinder won't turn or be hard to turn. If you're too far out, then accuracy suffers and you might even be like in danger too. So we really want it to be tight enough, close between the barrel and the cylinder in this width. I mean, you can't see it, but this guy, this way. So I like to just put him in there right away. So I'll go ahead and slip this guy in right in between. Maybe I should go this way. Right in between the cylinder and the barrel. And you can see there's a lot of room, right? We got lots of ways to go, and that's fine. And so at this point, you just screw in the barrel until it meets that tolerance gauge. That might not be the right word, but no, you gotta see. I think it's called a tolerance gauge. Keep screwing in. We got a long way to go yet. Long way to go yet. Don't even see him out the other side yet. Okay, I think we're getting pretty close here. Oh yeah. Okay, so now we're going to be able to kind of get that barrel to touch that tolerance gauge right there. See, I can't turn anymore, and that's good. So now we just slip out our oh my god, that might be too tight. Let me back off a little bit. Okay, and then slide them out. That's it. That's how much distance you want between the barrel and the cylinder. Let me see. I'm paranoid now, you know, it's like I feel like it's got to be. So I wouldn't go as tight as possible, maybe like just when it meets. Like right there, that's probably good enough. Okay, so that's the end of that tolerance gauge. Then we're going to slip back in the 8-inch barrel here. Beautiful. Okay, and we're going to put in the end cap again. So this is the same one. So you get an extra one, but I'm just gonna use the same one here. And it looks like I can possibly go. Wait, hold on. Am I doing this right? Oh, it's this way. I'm sorry. I try to put it in with the indents. Can you see the indents? try to put that like face down, it's the other way, like this. Because you want the indents facing out so that this tool can connect with it. So we can probably screw in a little bit. Yep. And then I can't do it anymore. And then we just go ahead and use this tool, and that will take care of the rest for us. There you go. Beautiful. Gotta lock that into place real tight. Real tight like. Woo! And that's it. And he's all back together. So that is the procedure for disassembly when you want to change the barrels, the stock barrels from 8, 6, 4, or 2 inches. I will say the 2 inches, it seemed a little silly to me because, you know, 2 inches is kind of like a carry gun, and honestly, the frame is very similar to a Colt Python, and a Colt Python is not a, it's not a D-frame Colt Cobra, you know, it's a pretty big frame, so you can have the 2 inch, but I think it kind of looks a little silly. The 4 inch seems to be more, you know, that's kind of more in line of what I would expect is the 4 inch. It might seem a little small still, I'd say, but it's, you know, not that bad. And actually, I think the Colt Python is actually pretty close to the same frame. So let me get my Python. He's not an 8-inch Python, but he's a 6-inch Python. Right there. That's my boy. And I do think it's kind of like the same frame because I can place it right in here. So let me not drop all my parts, but I can place the Python right here in his spot. I'll place the Python in the Dan Wesson spot. And you can see, for the most part, he appears to be, oh, let me sit this way. He appears to be sitting in just fine, you know? If anything, I'd say maybe the, kind of that trigger guard part, there might be a little extra space, just because the guns are cut differently. The Dan Wesson has more of a squared kind of, you know, bottom face, and then the Colt Python's a little bit more rounded. So yeah, I'd say the Dan Wesson 15-2 is very similar in size to the Colt Python. Let me see. I feel like the Dan Wesson might be a little larger, you know, just volume wise. The Dan Wesson might be a little larger, but yeah, that is the Dan Wesson 15-2. In regards to the Model 15, if you get the original 15-1, they have a pork chop barrel, which CZ does not support. So if you get the pork chop one, you cannot get any more barrels or barrel shrouds with that. They don't touch that anymore. But the pork chop barrels, they're exactly like these extra barrels that I've showed you, except that they have kind of the front part of this guy. So if you cut this guy right here, a little bit of the frame, that is actually the pork chop barrel that the original Model 15s had, and like I said, they don't do that anymore, and CZ doesn't support that anymore. So you'd have to, well, I mean, you're kind of stuck with what you got, I guess is what I would say. But yeah, very happy to get this at $1,800 rather than $2,600, which I was more than ready and willing to pay. So nice, very neat. Is there anything else to say? Honestly, no. I think it's pretty good already. All right, that'll be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the Dan Wesson 15-2 vintage. Please let me know if you have one or ever had one before. I had one before this, but it just had the 4-inch barrel. And then I sold that who knows how many years ago. Once I saw the pistol pack, I was like, well, I'd rather go for that. So I'm glad I was able to get the whole thing here now. So hope you guys liked the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.
You learned martial arts! Martial arts, good!